Breaking news out of the AL East. The Boston Red Sox have traded Rafael Devers over to the San Francisco Giants for Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, and two prospects, James Tibbs and Jose Bello. Now, this is shocking on many counts. Rafael Devers has been signed to that long-term deal, the 13-year deal or whatever he got. I know there's been turmoil this spring training early on in the year about him putting away his glove, not playing third base anymore. Then he didn't want to fetch it out to go play first base when the team had a need. So there's been some rough waters there for sure. The relationship between him and the new regime has not been what you would call ideal. But it is still shocking to see a player of this caliber traded at any point, let alone not around the trade deadline this early on in the year. We're only halfway through June, over a month away from the trade deadline. Now, did the Red Sox get better or worse from this deal? Is this a move to the future? For me, this does not make the Red Sox better this year in any way. However, they do have so many good young positional prospects that are coming up that they had a surplus there. None of them you would expect to be as good as Rafael Devers this year, in this one season alone, but they do have the upside to be very, very good in their own rights as soon as this year, if not next. So it's a bit of a confusing one for me. Are they throwing in the towel this year? So let's take a look at who they get back, because we all know who Devers is as a player. We all know he's an all-star, a superstar, one of the top, one or two players on any team, especially a team in contention window. They get Jordan Hicks back, who's having a rough year. We've had him as a Blue Jay. We're all very familiar with him. He throws 100 miles an hour. He can be a bullpen arm. He can be a starter. He can be a long man. He can be setup. He can be a closer. He can be whatever. He's having a rough season this year. His ERA is up over, I think, 6. They've got Kyle Harrison back, who was a very highly touted prospect. I think he was like a top 10 prospect in baseball as recently as a couple years ago. Very good left-handed pitcher. I believe he's about 23 years old. He's having a bit of a shaky start. He's got about a 4.5 ERA, so nothing that will make them necessarily better again this season, but in the near future, he should pan out quite well and be a very impactful starter for them moving forward. And then the two prospects I won't really get into because, again, they don't really affect us this year. But to me, this does not help the Red Sox for this season. I want to make that clear. In my opinion, this is a step back for them. Now, what do they do with this money? That could go any number of ways. They could look at any number of free agents. They could just use this money to lock up Alex Bregman if he opts out, just lock him longer term. Maybe they feel he's a good fit over there at third base and they prefer him. So I can see it from that point of view, like why they would move on from the Devers money and reallocate it elsewhere to maybe locking up some of their young guys, to locking up Bregman, to things like that, maybe going after more pitching. I understand it, but for winning this season, this feels like a fairly significant step back for the Red Sox. And as a Blue Jays fan who's in kind of a neck and neck race with the Red Sox for a wild card spot this year, this only increases our odds, in my opinion, of making a playoff push. And this, to me, does lower the Red Sox odds. Just shocking stuff. Another thing this trade does, though, is it highlights how quickly things can change in this game. Devers was only signed to this extension a couple of years ago, and he was their Vladdy. He came up through Boston. He's had great success there. He's been a phenomenal player. He gets the decade-long contract. He's the guy that they're building around over there. And then how quickly things change. So when you read these rumors about a Bo Bichette, for instance, as being a guy that might be traded this year, and we're going, we got to extend him, we got to keep him, we got to keep the window open, things like that. This just shows you how quickly this stuff can change and how quickly a deal can get done when a team is motivated, plus another team wants the player. So not only is this shocking in increasing the Blue Jays' odds, just completely changing the landscape of one of our main rivals within the division, but it also is a bit of a reality check for me about, hey, Bo Bichette could be gone at any time now. Even in the Vladdy situation, you've signed him for what you think is his whole career, for what you think is, a lot of a good chunk of our viewership, right? Most of us haven't been fans for any longer than, say 10, 20 years. So we're basically expecting to have him for that long, right? Like 14, 15 plus years as a Blue Jay. That's not necessarily the case. Just shocking stuff here. I'm still, my jaw is on the floor over this, even though, like I say, there was turmoil over there. There were rumors. It was still, to actually have it happen this early in the season just blows my mind. And when stuff like this happens in sports, it kind of rocks. It reminds me of the Luka Doncic trade. Like, it's exciting to every fan base when you see this kind of player moved. Really cool stuff, really eye-opening, and like I say, just a real reality check for us Blue Jays fans. Let me know what you guys think. Does this lower the Red Sox odds? Does this increase the Blue Jays odds in any way? What are your guys' thoughts on this trade? Just shocking stuff out of the AL East. Let me know. Drop a comment below. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.